A few weeks back, I found myself in a strange and possibly risky situation, one that I never thought I would be in. I've listened to the stories on your channel and other channels, but couldn't find anyone sharing a story like mine, so I thought I'd tell you about it. Just so you know, I am 30 years old and I live in a place close to London. I have a pretty decent job that I worked hard to get. It allows me to work part-time, so I spend a lot of my time traveling to new and different countries. I'm not a ladies' man, but I've had my fair share of relationships with good-looking women back home, but I never had a really serious relationship or met the right woman, though I had not really been looking for anything serious. For over a year now, I've been seeing a bar girl from Bangkok on and off. For the sake of my story, I will call her Lisa. I will tell you how me and Lisa met, the relationship that formed, and the crazy events that took place later on. I didn't meet Lisa at a bar, but I met her at a nightclub in Bangkok. We were on the dance floor having fun and just ended up dancing together, and later sitting down and drinking together. She was cute, spoke good English, and was not asking me to buy her drinks or pay for any fun. When I met her, I was 99% sure she was a bar girl, but she wasn't pushy about anything, and I liked that about her. Go-go bars, bar girls, and freelancers have never been my type of thing, to be honest, and never did I think I would be in a relationship with someone that does that work. About an hour or so after meeting and drinking together, she told me she had to go home. Again, she never asked me to join her or pay for any services. Instead, she gave me her line and told me to text her so we can see each other again sometime. We went on a date the night after I had met her, and we started talking a bit about our background. She told me she worked at a go-go bar, had a son, was once married to a Thai man, and came from Khon Kaen. All of what she told me gave me every reason not to pursue anything more with her. So I was honest and told her I'm not looking for anything serious right now. After that, I continued my travels around Thailand, going to Phuket, Koh Samui, Pattaya, and a bunch of other places that were off the beaten track. Though I would find myself back in Bangkok just a few weeks later. I went to the same nightclub a few times, and eventually I ran into Lisa again. Although I told her that I did not want to take things further, I secretly wanted to see her again, hence going to the same nightclub a few times. We had a few drinks together, danced a little, had a chat, and then we left together. One thing led to another, and, well, you know the rest. I enjoyed spending time with her, and her blunt honesty drew me in. It was a refreshing change from the usual stories I'd heard from other Thai girls. A lot of the girls I met tried to hide what they did for a living, or just straight up lied to me, but Lisa was brutally honest about everything. Somehow, we ended up in a strange kind of relationship. I liked her a lot and felt bad about her situation. I kind of had the mentality of the save a bar girl type of thing that you hear about. But eventually, common sense caught up with me and I couldn't bring myself to be in a relationship with a bar girl. After a few days, I told her I didn't want to see her anymore because she worked in a go-go bar. That's when she surprised me by offering to quit right away. I was shocked by her offer. I did not really believe that she would actually stop working there. but I agreed to give the relationship a try if she was actually serious. So for the next month or so, we spent every day going out together and having fun. I must admit, she really grew on me. I even visited her family, and, well, I guess we, or at least I, fell in love. Her family were very nice to me, but Lisa did not want to stay there too long, so I did not really get much time with them. Eventually, after spending a lot of time with her and having fun together, I had to go back to London to work for 6 weeks. But I promised her I'd return, and with a heavy heart, I left. As the days went by, the joy I felt in Thailand started to fade, and common sense began to creep back in. The doubts about our relationship and the future played on my mind. That's when I decided to do a bit of research. I might not know much about the Bangkok nightlife, but I'm not clueless when it comes to women. I just couldn't believe that someone as beautiful as her could fall for me so fast. That's when I found your channel and other websites that give information and share stories about Thailand. Listening and reading story after story that sounded just like mine, I realized I've probably been played. Even though I hadn't given her any money, it seemed like she was working on a long-term plan. I decided to test things for myself. I created a fake WhatsApp account and sent her a message pretending to be a former customer she had mentioned to me previously. Sure enough, she took the bait completely. She was eager to meet up and even agreed to go on holiday with the fake guy I had made. I was crushed, but honestly, I wasn't surprised. I knew what I was getting into and knew the chances of her being faithful to me were pretty slim. I ended things right away and felt grateful that I hadn't been scammed out of any money. She was really upset and I didn't hear from her for a while. She actually blocked me, so clearly she did not want me to contact her even if it was just as friends. 6 weeks later, I went back to Thailand and went wild with the local girls. I still avoided the go-go bars, but spent a lot of time in the nightclubs. These were usually full of girls, either working or just out having fun if no one had paid their bar fine for that night. I never lied to these women and admitted a few times that I still had some feelings for Lisa. We often talked about their lifestyle, and I learnt a lot during those days about how different their mindset was from mine. It became clear that my Western values were on a collision course with their culture. It always seemed to come down to the fact that since I never supported Lisa financially, she couldn't just stop working in the bars, or as I later found out, return to the go-go bar. And to be honest, I can't blame her. She obviously needs to make money somehow, and this is probably the only way she knows how. Time passed and I kept travelling, then returning to work in London, but I always found myself drawn back to Bangkok. I think I became addicted to Thailand, to be honest. I was not interested in travelling to different countries anymore. I saw Lisa a few times, and after her initial reaction of getting ridiculously drunk when she saw me, we started talking again. We sort of picked up from where we left off, but took things very slow. I didn't lie to her about what I'd been doing, and I answered any questions she asked honestly. She opened up and told me she had gone back to work in the bar. She was honest to me that she had some new regular customers that are supporting her, which I respected her telling me. Of course, we started down the slippery slope of seeing each other again. Although I never felt the same way I once did, I couldn't deny that I still had feelings for her. The spark had gone from when I first met her, but that's normal. I still cared for her a lot and wanted to be with her. I asked her if she thought she could leave the bar work behind, and if so, I would take care of her. I was willing to take that step in supporting her for now, just to see if we actually worked out and she would be honest with me. She eagerly agreed, as I knew she would. I think it's safe to say I had more money than sense, but I was curious to see where this situation could go. I decided an amount I felt was safe to offer her. However, I told her I couldn't fully trust her yet. I asked her to change her SIM card, create new accounts, and delete her previous customers' contacts. I do not want to sound like a controlling person, but if I am going to be supporting her, I think my request was fair. She was hesitant at first, but eventually agreed to my request. She even created a new Line account, though she didn't know I was aware of it. I suspect she also had another phone number, but I had no proof of that. So, with all of that, we continued seeing each other to see how it went between us. Whenever I was in Thailand, she'd stay with me wherever I went. When I went back to London, she'd return to Khon Kaen. That was the plan for every time I left Thailand, and as far as I know, she stuck to it. I would video call her when I was in London, and she would show me her home in Khon Kaen, showing her family on video. After spending a long time in London, the doubt and paranoia crept up on me once again. I realized it was never going to work out, and she could never be the person I thought she was at first, or the person I wanted her to be. So, I called her and ended things again. Surprisingly, she was very understanding, and when I suggested that we remain friends, she agreed. I think the long distance thing was getting to her as well, so a part of her wanted me to end it. When I returned to Bangkok, I planned to meet Lisa just to collect a few of my things. She asked me to spend some time with her, and at first I refused. But after a few days, I changed my mind. I'm not entirely sure why, but I couldn't deny that despite all the other girls I had been with from different places, I just wanted Lisa more. I was just so attracted to everything about her, apart from her job, of course. Also, remember I mentioned Lisa created a new Line account? Well, eventually I gained access to it and found out that when we were together and I was taking care of her financially, she had actually cut off all contact with any clients she might have had before. So she was actually being honest to me about staying faithful and truthful while I am away. On the surface, it seemed like she was trying to change her ways. I know a man should not change a woman and should like her for who she is, but she could see that I could not be with her if she worked in the bar, so at least she was trying. We spent more time together, and she asked if I would visit her family again. Since our relationship was picking up yet again, I agreed to visit her parents. She was very excited about having a farang to show off to her family and friends again. Now, This is where my story finally gets to the point and the crazy situation that unfolds. I know what you've listened to so far is a common story, and I understand what you might think about relationships with bar girls. The first part of the story was just to describe how we met and the type of relationship that we have. It's what happens next that I'd really like some help with. After me and Lisa arrived at her home on the overnight bus, we had a quick breakfast with her family and then went to sleep. I woke up to some shouting outside the house, which seemed normal there because there were always people outside doing something. But Lisa jumped out of bed and ran out of the room in a hurry. Sensing something is happening, I got dressed but stayed in the room. The next thing I remember is a big Thai man bursting into the room and pushing me right in the face. Turns out it was Lisa's apparent ex-husband. I quickly scrambled to my feet in a daze, wondering what the hell is going on. Half of Lisa's family then rushed into the room, along with Lisa. The Thai guy, he started shouting at me, saying, "My wife," and Muay Thai. The message was very clear. I knew right then that I was in trouble, and this could turn even more ugly very fast. Now, I'm not one to fight, and I knew I was in a very vulnerable situation. I did not have anyone I knew with me, hardly anyone spoke English, and I was in the middle of nowhere. I believe, especially in a country where I don't understand the culture well, it's best to back down. I had learnt previously that Thais stick together when there is problems with a Farang, no matter how bad the situation is. I did not know anybody there personally. I don't know if they would have helped me, and I wasn't even sure if he was alone or not. I thought the best thing for me to do was to get out of there as fast as I can, so I can try and work out what is actually going on. I kept my eyes down and defensively backed out of the room. As I looked up, I saw Lisa's family arguing with him, and then I caught a glimpse of his anger as Lisa pushed him square in the face. It was a right good shot as well. These Thai women do not mess around when it comes to swinging fists. I know how painful that can be, as I remember her landing one on me once after I'd left her at a nightclub following an argument. I was quickly shuffled out of the house by a family member and away from the building. I could hear the shouting from Lisa's family inside. About half an hour later, a family friend with a car came to take us away, and we stayed out of sight until he had left. Lisa looked incredibly angry and was clearly shaking with adrenaline. I thought it was best to let her calm down a bit before I start asking questions. At this point, I just wanted to leave the area and head back to Bangkok already. Problem was, all our stuff is still at Lisa's family house. Once he was gone, we returned to the house a few hours later, gathered our things, and left with Lisa to find another place to stay in the city. No chance I was staying at the house for the rest of the night, so we got a hotel and did not tell anyone where. Someone clearly told this guy that I was there, so I told Lisa not to tell anyone where we were staying. A few points to note. I was told that he had come to the house during a celebration, and apparently he wanted to see his and Lisa's son. I think this is just an excuse, because we were not even having a big celebration for anything other than me being there, and from what I'm told, he really has anything to do with his son. Again, I think someone in her family must have told him that his ex-wife had brought home a farang. Lisa had always told me they were married before, but it was never officially registered. They had a country wedding, whatever that means. They split up years ago, after he went with her friend while Lisa was pregnant, and eventually she couldn't put up with his constant cheating. When we returned, I found that he had taken Lisa's phone. It was lying by the bed, and during all the chaos, we thought it might have just been knocked off somewhere. I tried calling it several times, but there was no answer. I thought maybe one of her family members had picked it up, but it turns out he did. Later, I got a text message from him written in poor English from her phone. The message seemed to say that she was a liar and greedy, and that when I was in England, she was with him. After that, the number stopped working. I never heard from him again after that. I did ask Lisa what is going on with him and why did he do what he did. She says what she has told me is true. They split up years ago, but he still gets jealous of her. He must have found out through loose lips that Lisa had brought home a new boyfriend and he is a foreigner. When I questioned Lisa about him, saying that she was with him while I was in London, she denied it and said it's all lies, and I tend to believe her. So here are my questions to anyone that has made it this far in my story. 1. I understand that many bar girls have Thai husbands or boyfriends who are fully aware of their actions. If that's the case, why would he want to attack me if I was funding both his and her lifestyle? Surely he would have kept out of it and allowed Lisa to carry on seeing me if she was bringing home the money. 2. Could it have been an act with the whole family involved, trying to make it look like they weren't together? Surely not, especially after his text message. Maybe it's a double bluff? 3. Is it safe for me to ever return to her family home, or is he likely to try and harm me in the future? 4. Have you heard of a similar story before, and if so, could you point me to it? And lastly, can I get into any trouble with being in a relationship with a Thai woman that may still be married? If you need any more details, feel free to ask in the comments because I will be reading them. Thanks in advance for any help. Cheers.